People give for the museum so many names: the repository of relics, the time machine, the theater of history, and even the house of miracles. But the name Treasure Trove was rightly assigned to the Geology Museum of Kazan Federal University, and this name was given by visitors. Geology Museum of Kazan Federal University is a real pride not only for university but also for the whole of Russia. Founded in 1804, it's the same age as Kazan Federal University, and this year museum at university celebrate 2010 years since their foundation. During its two-century history, Treasure Trove of Volga region has seen a lot: the terrible fires in 1815 and 1848, the riots in 1970, and many other disasters. But all this didn't prevent the Geology Museum of Kazan Federal University to fill in its collection of exhibition from year to year. And after 2 centuries, there is something that made us proud.
The Geological Museum of the Kazan Federal University is one of the oldest and rich natural science museums in Russia. The contemporary story of the museum implies 7 main sections: ores, minerals and petrography, paleontology, dynamic geology, monographic collections, and geology of our region. There are more than 150,000 samples from 60 countries.
Any excursion to the Geology Museum begins with the history of its keepers about the first astronomers. But whether the link between Ptolemy and Earth science exists, it turns out the link is direct. The first question that every geologist asks himself is, without exception, what all this formed? The answer is obvious. Just look at the space. The basis of all the stars and planets is a gas dust material. Even Ptolemy discussed this. You can ensure words of Vladimir Sonin in one of the halls of museum, the mineralogical department. Coming here, you can understand why Geology Museum of Kazan Federal University called a treasure trove. Here you can find a collection of diamonds and nuggets, gems, rare crystals, various pseudomatites, minerals, ores, and many other treasures for the bowel of the earth. Museum of Kazan Federal University has one of the richest collections of meteorite in the world. Showcase with space guests left an incredible impression of ancient scientists who visited museum recently. Also, ordinary visitors are impressed by breathtaking heaven messengers. Some spacemen are real giant on scientific standards. For example, only a fragment of Kansas meteorite that crashed in the early 20th century is one of the district of Tatarstan weighs more than 50 kilograms. Thanks to its collection, you can make sure of one particularly of all meteorites, their magnetism. Visitor attracts to exhibit with magnetical power, but it's only as long as they don't come into the hall of paleontology. Our exhibition, as well as history of life on Earth, begins here with these cells, blue-green algae. They made the atmosphere of our planet habitable for 2 billion years. By the way, the famous manna from heaven, this is blue-green algae. They fell with rain and grew up overnight. They are quite edible. They feel quite comfortable today. Collection of fossil animals and plants of the Geology Museum of Kazan Federal University is one of the richest, not only in Russia but also in Europe. Here you can trace the evolution of life from the Devonian to Cretaceous period. A special pride of the museum is a collection of fossil fish. By the way, most of the exhibits in it are from the collection of Dr. Kranz, famous German paleontologist and mineralogist. Some of the exhibits are even unique. All foreign guests invite our collection of ichthyosaurs, in particular the German. Previously, these prints were in the collection of Dr. Kranz, and during the war we lost, and now we have them. Another point of our little excursion is Hall of the Ice Age. It is called the Hall of Mammoth because the heart of the exhibition is the giant folly skeleton. This exhibit is a favorite of all visitors. It even has a name, Mammoth Masha. And here is a little surprise waiting for us. Scientists conducted a study which revealed that this is male, and it died at the age of 45-50 years in the prime of life. This mammoth was found on the riverbank by our scientist Stuckenberg in 1898. It doesn't seem surprising, but what you see now, the entire skeleton, every single bone were found in one place. Such a find is a rarity, and it makes our mammoth unique. A rich collection of modern treasures is presented in the Geology Museum as well as ancient treasures. They can be found in the Hall of Petrography. Here is the whole history of the development of oil fields in Russia and Tatarstan. Along with the new knowledge, visitors will have another portion of new experience. For example, there are retorts with oil of different kinds and from different fields. It turns out that the color of the oil depends on its quality. Then better oil is, then lighter it is. However, the discoveries at the museum don't end here. You can learn something new and touch the unknown as much as you wish.